Each state has their own energy office. Most energy offices are housed in the governor's office of that state. In Texas, our energy office is housed within the Comptroller of Public Accounts, and it's used as another tool to assist other public entities and other taxpayers in the state. So our energy office focuses on being a service provider, and what we do is we use energy efficiency as a mechanism to improve the working environment and worker productivity for taxpayers and public entities within the state. Our office has three fundamental programs. The first is called Local Governments and Technical Assistance. The second is Emerging Clean Energy Technologies, and the third program is Energy Education and Training.
I think what we have learned through our State Energy Conservation Office is the flexibility is critical. The flexibility has led to sustainability. We've built some programs that no matter what the federal government does in the funding in any given year, I think we're well positioned to continue on. All of that's driven by the collaboration that we've built across industry partners, across other agencies, with legislators, legislative staff. Just all of that together, I think, has been critical. And I think a lot of that is we've continually thought forward on how do we help? Who can we serve? How can we make the system work better? And we've built the credibility.
The best friends would include just the other agencies. We work with the Texas Facilities Commission. We work closely with them. They've been extremely helpful. A lot of our early projects, when I started work here, were with the Health and Human Services Commission. They were extremely helpful in sharing their knowledge with us as well. We've worked intimately with a lot of state energy offices in other states. And just like we have a program set up to share best practices and share knowledge through the state energy offices, work together in the same format, practices and sharing our knowledge and trying to find ways to help each other. So it was a combination of other states, our state agencies within the state of Texas. We worked a lot with the city of Austin and Austin Energy early on, and they were big advocates of energy efficiency and energy conservation in the state. And so they were also essential for helping us improve what we do to help other taxpayers. Well, you know, it's really interesting you bring up that question, because through our clean energy incubators, they have always really interested in new technologies. Through our work with Texas A&M University, they have new technologies. I'll give you examples for both. An example of the clean energy incubator would be a company that has developed an exterior window partitioner, actually a window within a window. So we know that of the commercial buildings in the United States, a large part of the building stock has energy inefficient windows, and it's really expensive to replace windows. What this company has done is designed and commercialized a window within a window, where it actually turns a inefficient window to an efficient window by creating a seal between the two windows. And so that technology is really interesting and innovative, and I think can help a lot of companies. We also work with Texas A&M. They have a continuous commissioning program where they're developing an artificial intelligence software to enhance their continuous commissioning, knowing that every time a building is in operation, you want to find ways on an ongoing basis to improve the efficiency of operations, to identify parts that are wearing out early and on an ongoing basis. So with their program, they've developed that process, and we work with them in using that process through other state agencies and other higher education institutions throughout the state.
Battery storage, I think, is certainly on the generation front, which that's not particularly generation specific, but I think the ability to store energy is fascinating, and where we go with that is fascinating. I think that's going to be a big thing going forward. A lot of it is we do a lot of outreach with legislative members and legislative staff. We also do a lot of outreach with other agencies. And so when questions come up, I'd like to believe that those other agencies also, report the same thing. They report the same effort to be collaborative, the same effort to think forward. On a day-to-day basis, what that means is being honest and giving good feedback to legislators. I think we've had cases where legislators have entered or have introduced bills that, while well-meaning, would have restricted our ability to be flexible. And we've been very honest and very upfront about going over and talking to them and giving of how we work and how our system works. And we have been mostly successful in staving off a lot of legislatively driven procedural things that I think would have constricted us if they had gone through.
The LoanSTAR revolving loan program is my baby because I have been involved in that program intimately for the last 12 years. What this is a revolving loan program. We use energy, we use oil overcharge funds, we use some ARA funds that were in a loan program when ARA was in existence, and we use some federal funds. What those funds are used for are for public entities to make energy efficiency retrofits within their buildings, and to use the utility savings to pay for those energy efficiency retrofits. So through these programs, through the Watt Watchers program, we provide them with energy literacy. Through our LoanSTAR program, we provide them with a really good learning environment, not only for them, but for the teachers and also for their peers. Through our New Technologies program, we learn about new ways to make schools more energy efficient and again, resulting in a better learning environment for them.
I think a lot of it is the discussion about fiscal responsibility, and I think everybody's interested in saving money, no matter how you frame it up. And so I think that has historically been where we've tried to excel, is to show that we are able to save energy, which results in conserving funds. And I think that's been the big thing. We do talk about energy conservation pretty openly, but I think we don't talk about, not in our bailiwick, the generation for it. We don't get into the renewables versus oil and gas versus anything else. We talk a lot about, once you have that energy, wherever it comes from, whatever that source, how do we make the most of it? And that's about conserving energy as well as conserving power. We have created a sustainable program through the LoanSTAR funds particularly, but we've created a sustainable program that will continue on. And I think it's absolutely about being good stewards of the public's money and the public's assets. Our State Energy Conservation Office, again, is built on collaboration, on continually thinking forward. So many of the programs we've created over time have been programs that were created specifically for a need we identified. And so I think that has kept us relevant. I think probably the greatest example, and one that's particularly relevant today, is in 2009, when the ARA funds, the stimulus funds, were released to the states. TECO jumped right in the middle of that. We were prepared, we had staff, we had ideas, we had lots of things we were ready to go, and we implemented a lot of really good programs with those funds, about $270 million worth of funds. We did some things that were very innovative. Last minute, there were some funds that were deobligated, that would have lapsed if we were not able to get them out the door really, really quickly. So we worked with a lot of people, and we identified a very quick, very simple program to help schools replace energy units. In Texas, like lots of places, we've got school buildings built in the 60s, 50s, and even earlier. And so we created a very quick turnaround program that was able to utilize those funds that we didn't deobligate them back to the federal government. And I think that's the flexibility. Is we've continually looked, we've built a sustainable model, so we have a staff that always has great ideas, whether we have funding for them at any given time, but we have lots of ideas flowing out. And so when we do have a need, there's lots of background work that's already been done.